Thank you, Acting Chair and Leader. This morning I want to bring up a couple of issues. I suppose I want to pay tribute to our Cavan woman, Leona Maguire, on winning the LPGA tournament this weekend. She's a great ambassador for Cavan, but a great ambassador for young women in sport and young girls. Leader, last October you promised me a debate here in this Seanad with regard to mental health in young people. We talked last week and the weeks before about the death of Eden Heaslip, and this weekend I had the youngest death I ever had to walk out of a house and walk into a house was a 14-year-old child who died by suicide. We really need to have a discussion on this, where we can put together some community crisis response teams and permanent counsellors in schools. It's gone on too long. We're not dealing with the issues on the ground, and it's left to community leaders like ourselves to try and come up with solutions. We can't do that. So really, there's a ripple effect. Everybody knows there's a ripple effect. It was in Cavan there last week. They had their fourth one in the parish of Den. After Eden Heaslip, there was another one there last week. And now I've had another one in Duleek, and I'm afraid of my life what that ripple effect will encounter for us in our town. We had 5 in 1 year in 2017 to 2018. It's devastating. It can devastate a community, and it takes years of healing. So I want us to bring in the Minister for Health, please, to deal with that and have some suggestions here of how we can actually deal with maybe getting a community crisis response team. There's nobody doing it at this moment in time. So Sad don't do it. Pieta House don't do it. My Mind don't do it. Jigsaw don't do it. There's nobody there. So there's an opening there for an NGO or a government body to get up and say, well, we'll do that. We'll go into a town. We'll do a health check in that town and see what we can do to help and support that time and do a health check in that town. So, I mean, the National Education and Psychology Service and the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service have been calling for this for years. I see that the Green Party are welcoming the National Retrofit Plan here today. We have the Warmer Home Scheme. There's a 26-month delay in delivery of that at this moment in time. There's 7,500 waiting to get works done there. It's all very well announcing plans, but we don't have the manpower or the construction people in construction to actually do this at this time. So it's all very well announcing plans, but we have to address the deficits in relation to construction. Thank you.
Sharon talked about mental health. Sharon, I will go back and double down on our efforts to try and secure a debate, because you're absolutely right. And Fiona mentioned a young lady that she used to teach when she was smaller. We have a real crisis in this country, and we do keep saying it here, but I really kind of feel like that again nobody is listening. And there are tens of thousands of families, and you know them as well as I do, that are struggling on a daily and a weekly basis just to keep their children alive and floating. And we really don't have, with the exception of some exceptional charities, a service that we could call is value for money for the 1.2 billion euros that we spend on mental health in this country, but something that we should be able to say that we're proud of and delivers that community response in an emergency or an exceptional needs basis that is so sadly lacking. And we certainly have an issue with regard to how and when people of any age present to our accident and emergency services in our hospitals are not dealt with appropriately. So just to acknowledge both of your contributions and say I will try and get that debate as quickly as I can.